I'm Dennett. I'm here at the Blockchain Connect conference in San Jose.
Hi, I'm Bobby Lee. I'm the co-founder of BTCC, and I'm also a board member of Bitcoin Foundation. I've been involved with Bitcoin since 2011, so I've been a very, very strong Bitcoin maximalist, and love the crypto world. I currently live in Shanghai. I used to live in the United States, so I've been in China for the last 12 years now. So yes, in China, they've actually clamped down on formal Bitcoin exchanges, but very much because Bitcoin and crypto is just basically private keys, information. It's very hard to truly stamp it out. So there's a thriving market in China. Maybe it's underground, maybe it's person to person, but people are trading crypto, people are buying crypto, people are selling it, people are doing buying, selling tokens and all that. So it's still a lot of speculative activity going on in China for crypto, just not in any organized fashion because all the formal exchanges have closed down. Yeah, so there's still a lot of interest in cryptos and ICOs and all that in China. And the reason is that Chinese people are very savvy investors and speculators. They really, Chinese people have a lot of savings, first of all. And because of the market structure, there's not a lot of open venues for investing. The stock market, the real estate market, those are all at all-time highs. And rather than just invest in those or gold and silver, people in China also choose to invest in crypto. So, and ICOs, of course. So even though formally it's very hard to access that market, but informally the people who are in the know, they have no problem buying, selling crypto in China. Yeah, that's a great question about buying crypto, whether it's to invest or whether it's for the so-called the governing principles, the libertarian perspective. So I think Chinese people are more practical. They're just buying it as investment. Some are speculating. The line between investment and speculation is actually very blurry. It's about your time horizon. It's about whether people subjectively agrees with you or disagrees with you. So most people are investing. And I think it's less about the notion of economic principles of libertarianism and so on, but it's more about the notion that it's a future of money, and I think in that sense I agree very much. Yeah, my prediction for the market is that ICOs, we've had ICOs for the last 2 years now, and I think it's gonna there's a bubble in this market. Just too many people doing ICOs, too many bad quality ICOs. So there's going to be market correction for tokens and ICOs. However, and that might drag down the broader crypto market with Bitcoin. I mean, it's already come down by 2/3, right? So I do believe that even though it's come down by 2/3, there's more room to go on the downside. But ultimately, especially after the next block halving, I think ultimately Bitcoin can go up another 10, 100, or even 1,000 times in our lifetime. So I'm very bullish on Bitcoin and crypto in general. It's just that due to the volatile nature of it, it'll go up and down, and I think that's quite normal for this new asset class that we call Bitcoin today.
I wanted to join you here for this next part. So one of my concerns, or one of the questions I'm saying, is Bitcoin for good, for the betterment of humanity? Will it live up to what the founders thought originally, the early Bitcoin people, the ones that believed in personal choice, taking responsibilities, having liberty, having decentralized money, having censorship resistance? Or is this something, in China, I heard they're looking at, if you don't have a good social score, you can't take public transit. So now we're having something that's immutable. Is the government going to come in there and just find a way to get their paws on this data, and they're going to use it to enslave humanity worse than ever?
No, I don't think it's that sort of negative future. I really think Bitcoin has succeeded already, because if you look at crypto as an asset class, so prior to Bitcoin 10 years ago, the world, we as humans can only own things in two different ways. One is physical possession. Mm-hmm. You hold it physically, right? So the shirts we wear, the watches, the eyeglasses, anything, the coins we have in our pocket. The other way to own is by title, meaning that's owned under my name. So the larger things like cars and boats, airplanes, real estate, even bank accounts and stocks, brokerage accounts are all owned by name. Yeah. So those are only two ways to own things. So now with crypto, what we have is we have a third way of ownership, which is ownership by information, ownership by knowing the private key, by knowing the password or the passphrase. And that is huge, because information ownership means ownership So ownership by information means you can transfer by information. That means you could distribute your wealth, you could give it to people just by information alone. So this is a huge innovation in society that we quite overlook.
Yeah, I see this as a huge. Been a giant innovation, and I see it has the potential to really uplift humanity and to bring freedoms that we haven't seen before. But at the same time, are you worried there's going to be government tokens where the governments come and other entities come in and really try to give us censorship at a new level?
Well, it comes down to what kind of society do we live in. If we live in a free country, I'm a big believer in freedom of information, freedom of speech, freedom, human rights, and so on. So as long as we live in a country like America, where we actually appoint the governments, we actually vote for the governments, then I think we will never be in a situation where we no longer have the freedom to own something.
But you're living in China, so how's it looking from that side of the world?
So China is not as ideal. Yeah. So that's why I'm only a resident and not a citizen of China.
I see. Tell me real quick, what is the social score? What's going on? Is it true people can't ride on public transit or the high-speed trains if you don't have a good social score?
I've heard of that, but I don't know how formal that is, so I certainly don't know what the numbers are.
Yeah. Okay, and why are you interested in this? Why did you get started?
So in crypto?
Yeah.
So I got started from my brother, Charlie. He's famous for Litecoin, being a creator. So he got me interested in Bitcoin in 2011. We both started mining in 2011 and tried to understand why Bitcoin is relevant in a digital world. At first, we're questioning whether Bitcoin has value. What's the point of it? But we were already investors in gold. So we understand that gold, the value does not come from endorsement by governments. Rather, the value comes from people's ability to use it and the fact that it's decentralized and no one controls it. So in many ways, Bitcoin has that ethos.
So are you the younger brother or the older brother?
I'm the older brother.
And your younger brother got you into this? Did he get you into gold too, or did you get into...
No, we both got into gold because our father was an investor in gold.
What did your dad do?
When we were young, we grew up in Africa, in the Ivory Coast. So he was a businessman with factories and so on.
So was this in the mining sector?
No. It was just manufacturing plastics.
And did you see where you want something more stable than the government currencies?
Yeah, we saw a lot of inflation, a lot of...
Zimbabwe?
Yeah, I wasn't in Zimbabwe, but certainly many countries in Africa had trouble with their currencies. Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't realize your brother got you involved in how that worked.
Yes.
So are you and your brother still close? What's it...
Yeah. He's unfortunately he's not here. He's in Asia this summer. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and let's hope Litecoin really carries on. Are you a major? Or what's your thoughts on Litecoin?
Well, I'm a supporter of Litecoin. I think Litecoin is also a decentralized currency. Yeah.
Why did your brother sell his Litecoin?
He wanted to be a strong supporter of Litecoin. He's working on more things to help the community, Litecoin Foundation, and he's a public figure for Litecoin. What he didn't want to do was to have accusations that he's pumping the price of Litecoin because he's a creator and so on. So he decided to exit his position of Litecoin to have that more neutral perspective. But in some ways, there's counter arguments that by exiting, you actually have a bearish perspective. So it's not an easy way. There's no easy.
Also, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing, and let's hope that this really brings humanity up to the next level of innovation and freedoms.
Great. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And I met a couple people just walking by. I haven't yet gotten to know them, but let's get to know them together. So you said something about a hacker when you were walking by. What's a hacker doing here?
Hi, so I'm a hacker, a blockchain hacker. And so is my friend here. Her name's, what's her name?
Oh, my name is Itel.
Hi, Itel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm actually one of the hackers as well.
What does a hacker do?
So basically, we actually build stuff. So we do program, we build smart contracts. So more on the back end side. So we're more the developers.
That's awesome. Is it fun to get in there and hack?
Yes, we do actually. We are actually excited to build something. So that's why we're actually here.
Now, are you building it and then hacking it, or are you just hacking what someone else built?
So basically, they just use the word hacking in terms of because we're developers. So like a catchy word, hacker.
Okay. what makes someone want to get into hacking? Were you trying to steal someone's bank account and you got bored, or what?
So the whole point is like blockchain can be hacked in the first place. So someone's going to do it. So why not someone on the good side, right? So by hacking it, attacking it with ethical purposes, we figure out how to defend against the malicious hackers.
Wait a second, though. I thought Bitcoin can't be hacked, and everyone's tried it, and no one's been able to, and it's like hack-proof.
Nothing is hack-proof.
So should everyone who holds Bitcoin be scared?
Well, they should hold some amount of like, not paranoia, but like they should be aware that anything can be hacked. Nothing is impenetrable.
So what have you hacked?
Oh, that's confidential.
Are the viewers are you the one that's hacking their accounts?
No comment.
So are you having fun here?
Yeah, it's great. It's a very magical atmosphere. We're learning about different blockchain companies and technologies and looking for vulnerabilities in people's products and trying to figure out how to help them patch it before the malicious hackers get into their...
How about you? Have you found some cracks?
It's confidential as well, but we are excited for this event though.
Is it like a race? Who can find something first?
No, yeah, kind of, yeah. But if you have like a really good project, then definitely.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. It is a race against, well, like, you know, like the opponents, the adversaries, they have a lot of, sometimes they have, it depends on the funding. Some people are like script kiddies at home. They're just playing around as a hobby, tinkering. But then some other more malicious, more serious opponents will be like maybe funded by different investors or even like sovereign states as well.
Cool. So are you hoping to get funded by a state sometime or by a company that wants to make sure they have good security? Is that kind of the career path you're on?
Yeah, definitely. We do consulting, basically.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time and enjoy the conference. Good luck at finding some holes.
Yeah, thank you, man. You too.
What was your name?
I'm Sia. I'm founder of CoinCrunch. It's a channel and a community dedicated to blockchain and crypto.
Fellow media people here with me. And you're?
I'm Blockchain Brad, so I basically run around and try and contact CEOs and elicit the best information we can possibly get for all the people who need to know more.
Okay, so we're going out on public access. We're going out on public access. What do you want the CEOs to know?
Well, basically the truth. So everything we can possibly find, everything that you maybe don't get access to every other way, we as objective media try and bring that to everybody in the public.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is, because again, it's all about the privilege of having the position. So we take it really seriously. We try to, we wear our ties, we try and be professional. We wear the tie, we rock the tie.
I'll hold my
and,
coffee here.
to be honest, it's such a privilege to come to these events and network with really credible people, not just the CEOs, but those in the media who are also trying to bring to the fore like yourself. So thank you very much for doing that today.
I didn't wear the tie is a problem, but I'm trying to really just get the community informed what's going on. People in San Jose here, we're having a blockchain event. There's another one last week in San Francisco. This space is really active. What do you think about what's going on?
So first off, I'd say like this event is actually, like, we've been to a lot of events and there's a lot of great speakers here, and there's a lot of really prominent thought leaders in the space that are at this event. So it's sort of like a gem in the rough. There's a lot of other events, and they're sort of like pitch fest, people pitching their projects, where with this one, it's not so much like that. So I'd say this is a really good place to start off if you're just starting to learn about blockchain and wanting to get access to some of these projects.
What do you think of blockchain versus Bitcoin debate and that whole discussion?
Well, I mean, when I think of the term blockchain, it's denoting the entire space, right? It's this whole vertical of tech that's building. And I think the underlying ethos of that is like a community-based approach to building businesses and scaling them out and focusing on decentralization. So I don't really compare the two. I think Bitcoin is sort of like the brand that got people in. It's like the gateway to bring people into seeing the bigger picture and ethos of what blockchain is trying to do.
Great.
Yeah, and I think to add to that as well, one of the big foci now, or the focuses, is on business. So BTC was essentially a people's coin. It was designed to really bring in as Sia was saying, the ethos of community, of allowing people a solution to a lot of the problems we foresaw in traditional economies. But right now we're also seeing smart contracts really pave the way also for business, and so we're seeing different agendas actually emerge. And this is the exciting time because finally we have gateways for business to really. And blockchain is just one facilitation of that process. There's so much more coming.
Now, you're saying blockchain for business. I know IBM and a bunch of big companies are checking it out and seeing how it can improve basically the supply lines and across the board, what improvements can come. But one thing I'm not seeing enough action on is how blockchain can improve and streamline governments. Why do we want our tax dollars paying for this big bureaucracy when 80% of it can be done with blockchain?
Big question. I mean, again, it comes down to how it facilitates the user. So if something like this technology can actually cut out middlemen, it can really reduce costs, not just for the top-down businesses, but for us as people, then we want to support that. And this is all about decentralized tech. We're talking about DLT, not just blockchain. So really, we want to support
DLT as distributed ledger technology.
Exactly. So again, as Sia will say as well, we want to support anyone who can, facilitate the process that will help us as people really, build out our, the advantages that the blockchain brings economically.
And also a giant wave of innovation that's coming. Any final words you want to say?
Like I was sort of saying, coming to these conferences is a really great way to connect with people that are really passionate about what's going on, and sort of get an idea of what the tech's about, and not just the price speculation that most people think about when they think about crypto or blockchain tech. There are people trying to build like real projects and do real things, and they're at conferences like these.
Okay, so hi, this is Tabang here, Mashilwani from Chankura Exchange. I'm here with Anna from Aurora Coins.
Yes.
Yes, so Anna is doing some very interesting thing in the crypto space. She's one of those inspiring ladies in the crypto space that I always look up to. So I'm very delighted to be with Anna today.
Well, I've been in tech for the past 9 years, and right now I'm working on the company, as you mentioned, Oracoins. It's a decentralized platform for hiring blockchain engineers. And crypto, the whole crypto industry and blockchain, very inspiring for me because it's not just a technology, it's the whole ideology behind it that is there to change the way we think, change the way we vote, change the way we pay, change the way we save our information, and at so many other levels. It's basically like inventing electricity. That's how I see it. And I really believe that in several years it's going to be unnoticeable, but it's going to be everywhere. That's why I'm here. What about you? What brought you to crypto?
Interesting. Myself, I've been in the crypto space doing payments, cross-border remittances with my other company called GeoPay, and that's how we actually ended up starting a cryptocurrency exchange to actually help emerging markets with financial inclusion. And we came to Silicon Valley more than a year ago and came across companies that were doing tokens and ICOs and wanted to get listed on our exchange. So that's how we basically got here. I mean, currently we're working with a lot of companies that want to get listed on exchanges, help them with fundraising and the likes. So, I mean, the way I see the impact of crypto in the community is obviously empowering people with banking the unbanked, giving you control over your assets, over your financials. So that's one thing, but there's a lot of things that the blockchain could do essentially. Like you look at smart contracts that will sort of decentralize the current systems with I'm sure you'd have heard about the likes of Facebook having data breaches and all that. So I see that being kind of solved with blockchain by having applications that are built on top of blockchain where the data is controlled by the users.
And you are building the exchange. You're building the exchange. how does it different? How does this exchange is different from a stock exchanges we have right now? So like if before companies would be doing IPO, right?
Right.
Now they're doing ICO, initial coin offering.
Yes.
How do you see the similarities and the differences in it?
Well, I mean, if you look at traditional exchanges, they are more focused on like stocks and investing. So the crypto space is mostly focused, like our crypto exchanges, our crypto exchange and most other crypto exchanges out there are focused on like helping platforms grow, like bringing the user base to the crypto exchange as a marketplace, and also migrating that user base to the platforms, whereby the user would end up using the platform, consuming whatever the platform is selling. So we're actually looking more into having this platform as a way to actually empower other platforms that are looking to launch, that are looking to go to market, especially in the markets that we operate in. Like, I mean, you look at emerging markets that we've been targeting, like Africa.
Right.
It's mostly like people that haven't actually got access to like your, financial markets at
Yeah,
all.
they can't go and buy Apple stocks, right?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
people from California, for example.
Yes, so I mean, obviously, like there's a lot of people here in developed markets that don't see that potential, especially with like emerging markets where you can actually unlock a massive economy that hasn't been like tapped into the global finance.
Really
And
excited too, the banking the unbanked. So all these people around the globe that don't have bank accounts, now
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to bring them into the global community with cryptos. And you mentioned too how it's more than just money, but it's really about empowering people. So I'm curious, what got you started?
Well, I started doing startups because I saw problems in the world that nobody else is trying to solve or solving, but they're not solved yet. And I was like, I had the chance to go and work for another company, right? Or spend my life on trying to change something. And that was a very easy choice. So with crypto, it was even easier because first of all, it had all the necessary for me ingredients. It had changing the world technology, it had innovation in it, it had community, it had idea of equality where more people, the money, the power are getting decentralized around the world. And it was, as we've seen now, more women entering space, more minorities entering space, people of color entering space. And I mean, even look at us, right? It's not three white guys talking now, which is already a change.
Yeah.
So I've seen that as something absolutely new. It's a new wave. And it's incredibly inspiring to be one of the first in this wave. So I think in a couple of years it will be normal. It will be
a normal day-to-day use, like for an average person that has no idea what the technology is about, what cryptocurrency or what
Right.
Bitcoin is. Like, what sort of like use cases do you see solving that or bridging that gap with the masses?
In my head, I still separate blockchain and cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
Blockchain is a technology, and I think a lot of banks, a lot of insurance companies, a lot
Bitcoin thing was you don't need a bank because it's a two-party system. I mean, two people can have a transaction. You don't need the third party. So
Yeah,
what-
but I think that that transformation will be happening through institutions first. So, like, the banks won't disappear in 2 years or even in 5 years, right?
but they'll look radically different than they do today.
Exactly. And I think the blockchain, the technology itself will be doing that step forward for them to
Yeah.
enter
Yeah, it's-
into
it's
more
a-
decentralized organizations.
It's almost like the the new media or online media with traditional media with newspapers. It's not like they disappear. There was like some of the biggest companies like your Cumulas and they were doing very well at some point because of like traditional advertising. But a lot of businesses migrated their ads into like Google Ads and Facebook. So, but it's not like outdoor media or traditional media doesn't exist anymore. So I also see that happening with banks and current financial systems where they'll still exist,
But they will have
But
to
you don't
change.
see too many digital. You don't see too many old school photos. I mean, everyone went to digital photos, so
Yes.
I mean, Kodak missed the boat there. So there's going to be banks that miss the boat and
Of course.
that don't go to cryptos and that try to stay with the legacy systems. And the legacy systems won't maintain the lead that they have now. They've got competition. If they don't innovate, they're going to disappear and go the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah, and also, I mean, issues around regulations. I think regulators are moving slow to actually allow these traditional firms to actually deploy
Absolutely, but
cryptocurrencies
Tim
on
Draper,
blockchain.
I mean, he was saying that 80% of what government does can be on the blockchain. The DMV and all these different services, even visas and all these services the government provides, that can go on blockchain with smart contracts. Dubai's taking steps to implement that, and our government will be able to gain huge efficiencies and save the taxpayers money by utilizing blockchain technology.
And that's exactly, you guys are matching at the point of talking about the new ecosystems, but it's very hard to break existing ecosystem and to create a new one. On the other hand, we have emerging markets where the ecosystem is not created yet. And that's where leapfrogging happening, where the company, instead of going through US steps of like building the bank system, then disrupting the bank system, then bringing the disruption, they're going through step number 3.
Which one are you most excited about?
Yes, I'm about step number 3, of course, and that's why my company, we're also focusing on emerging markets. We're looking for the talent from emerging markets who want to be paid in cryptocurrencies.
But
Because
didn't you say you're hiring in San Francisco?
no. I mean, we have our headquarters are here,
Okay.
but we're the global platform that's working and focusing specifically on emerging markets.
Yeah, I think that's actually that's a great idea. Like you look at all these crypto companies now doing airdrops, giving away money for people to. I mean, you could actually do this in emerging markets where you give away money to or cryptocurrencies to people that actually need it for bread or for anything else. You know what I mean? Like
banking
because,
the unbanked.
Yes. So I mean. Because there's a lot of like the market actually ballooned at some point, the crypto market, and people have a lot of money that they're sitting with, and they're trying to find a way to actually, build an application and also make it usable to the masses. Like, I think you've got a very, very interesting project that you're working on, especially, helping people in some other parts of the world.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank both
Thank
of
you.
you, and let's do our part to bring up the rest of the world,
Yes.
bank the unbanked, empower more people, and save the government money by automating a lot of what they do, streamlining it, and having a huge new wave of innovation around the globe. That's the part I'm most excited about.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
enjoy the rest of the
You
conference.
too. Thank you.
You enjoying the conference?
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really interesting.
Keep talking what you're saying.
I gotta run. I gotta speak next. Okay. Tell them what you just said.
No,
It's important for people to know that.
Wait. Keep talking with him.
No, I'm speaking next.
Hey, so the conference is over. This is the conclusion. Lots of good information out there. Made some good contacts. Did you have fun?
I had a great time. I met a lot of really interesting people, a lot of great projects, and got to connect with people that I've sort of been chatting online with for a while now.
Any big key takeaways?
No big key takeaways. I mean, I'm sort of in this space sort of 24/7. I love blockchain tech and everything that it's bringing to the world. I guess the biggest key takeaways were that going to conferences like this is really where you foster long-term good relationships with not only projects but also with other key people in the industry.
The technology, I keep saying, it's neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It opens up a lot of new opportunities, and hopefully everyone will use it for good.
For sure. I mean,
Thanks again. And
yeah, thank you so much. And like I said, it was a great conference, and thanks for the quick interview.
right.
All right, thank you.